because all you need to win this battle is to be disciplined, right? All you need is that discipline. And that's easier said than done, but still, on the grand scheme of things, to have all this information, these audiobooks, these courses, these workshops, these teachers, these techniques, like whatever you're trying to master, like it's all at your fingertips. The thing is, the mastery is the ultimate anti-dopamine worm medicine, right? With mastery, you can't get sucked into bullshit. You can't get sucked into drama because you have to pursue your craft. You have to pursue your vision, right? The emphasis on the power of the times that we live in and how you can really utilize that to work for you and to create whatever life you want to create and become great in whatever you want to become great in, right? And you can do that. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lion's Heart. This video, I want to really drive and emphasize the times we live in and the amount of opportunity that you actually have today to excel and master whatever pursuit you want to in life, and to really get you excited about this time that we live in, while also acknowledging the pitfalls and traps that you can fall into, and how in a lot of ways we live in a very new and high opportunity and rich system, but we also live in a rich system that might be working against you. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of power in the amount of information that exists today. And this can either work for you, and then this technology can also work against you and take from you, right? So it can either give to you or take away from you. And for most people, unconsciously, this system is taking from them, right? But if we become conscious and we become technologically disciplined, you can actually use this time and use this information and use this technology and this unprecedented time that we live in to work for you, to become a master in your field, right? So what is it that you want to master? What is your craft? What is your passion? What is your desire to become great in, right? And that's what we're going to dive into today. So just to start off, I want to kind of set the stage for the time that we live in, right? So in the past, let's say that you wanted to become a juggler, right? And you would have to search around your town, let's say 500, 600 years ago. You'd have to search around your town. You would have to talk to maybe other jugglers. Maybe there's some amateur jugglers. You'd have to learn from them. But you wanted to become a master, right? So then maybe you have to travel 3 towns over to a master juggler that you've heard of, right? And you have to learn from this guy, and you have to live with him, and all these things, and you have to kind of learn it his way. You can't compare it to other masters because you can't go live with them and take notes, and that's too much work, that's too much travel, but it becomes a waste of time. So you have to just study with this one guy. Maybe there's a book or two on the subject, but that's unlikely. But even if that's so, you maybe find 1 or 2 books on the subject, right? Compared to today, if you want to master juggling, if I wanted to master juggling, for example, or you, how hard is that to do? Like, that's a couple clicks away, right? That's a couple clicks away. You go on Amazon, you order the perfect juggling balls that fit your size, your hands perfectly. The best grip, right? Basically you can get the best products, the best technology, the best tools for today, right? You can get the best juggling balls. You can read the reviews, you can see what the best juggling balls are, and you can get those delivered to your house the next day, right? You can go on YouTube and find thousands of different teachers, and you can find the top rated ones with 1 million views on how to juggle. And then by tomorrow you can be practicing. You can read books on it. You can probably find hypnosis and meditations on like how to juggle to get your mind to focus. I'm sure that exists. So the point here is that you have a plethora, an infinite sea of information around juggling. And this is how you can utilize and leverage the technology to make you great, right? We live in a time where humans can share all kinds of ideas. We can share all kinds of theories and things, and there's freedom of speech protecting that, so people can share whatever they are passionate about or whatever they desire within certain confines that make sense, right? Like not illegal things and things that hurt people directly. So we have this platform, the internet, this sea of information, right, where people are sharing ideas, and it's all a couple clicks away, and it's basically the whole world is a part of this, right? So that's pretty groundbreaking. That's pretty huge because humans actually thrive. We thrive off of sharing information. If you look at your own life, you'll see that so much of what's created, the things that help you function in life, like all of the powerful tools that you have, the use of language, your day-to-day tools, your house, your water filters, your food, your shopping, your job, everything that helps you function as a human. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, right? This is from the plethora of, human time of building things, creating things, sharing ideas. And this has allowed us to become, the most powerful species on Earth, right? And we're thriving. If you really see, we have our problems, but we're thriving in terms of survival, right? Humans have got that locked down. Our species has that locked down, right? Can't deny that. So we live in this time where we have all of this information, and you can really distill it. You can get reviews, you can find the best stuff. And even the internet's been around for a while, but it's really only recently that we've kind of mastered the internet and it's become even more distilled, right? Like, there's a lot of bullshit out there for sure, and we'll address that. But at the same time, like, if you really want to find the best in certain fields, like, you can do that, right? Because it's usually like there is a wisdom to the crowd, right? So if there is a great juggling teacher, that person will usually stand out from the group, right? That person will get a lot of followers, they'll get a lot of reviews, they'll get a lot of likes, things like that. So you'll be able to find, the best in the field pretty quickly, and then you can begin practicing, right? And this really, like, it changes the game, right? Especially if you use it in the right way, right? At the same time, this can be detrimental because the internet is not really a pure place, right? The internet is a jungle, right? The internet is a very dangerous, toxic, high survival kind of jungle, right? So you have scammers, you have grifters, you have people wanting your money, you have people trying to trick you, you have people with crazy theories like, alien light beings, and like we're all like light beings, and like, these crazy new age things, and like all kinds of stuff out there as well that they're smart. They know how to manipulate, they know how to trick you. And they pull in your primal desires. Maybe like we're all light beings. These people selling this idea like we're all light beings. I've seen ads like this on YouTube. You're a light being, right? This pulls on your desire to be special and unique, right? Or Ty Lopez, how to make money in 3 months and become rich. Or Andrew Tate, how to be an alpha male. Like, what does this pull? This pulls on your desire to be an alpha male and have power. This pulls on your desire for money and status and whatever. And it hits those little psychological evolutionary like desires that we have. And in the same way that there's like the master juggler, there's also the master scam artist, right? There's the master manipulator who knows how to like pull your strings, get you to want what they have, spend money, they get rich. There's a lot of that. That's a lot of the internet. That's most of it. Most of the internet is out of integrity, right? Most of the internet, what they're doing is they're doing that thing for money, right? And you can see that with so many different platforms. And it's in self-help, it's in spirituality, it's in romance and dating, it's in making money. I mean, all of these fields are tainted with grifters who are just there to make money, right? So that's one of the dangers. And one of the problems of that is it's hard for you to actually know who's genuine and who's authentic and who's trying to take your money, right? Or trick you or oversell something or bullshit you, right? It's hard to know. And we've all fallen into those traps. I've fallen into those traps. Luckily, not too much. I have a pretty good, for whatever reason, I have a pretty good radar of bullshit and wisdom. I don't know, maybe that was just a gift. Hopefully you do as well. But it seems like a lot of people do fall into these traps, right? So that's one of the dangers of having this sea of infinite information, this sea of idea sharing and information today, is that you can fall into scams and bullshit, right? And really, another part of this is that inside of you, you have two different beings, right? You have two different beings. One part of you wants to become a master. One part of you wants a deep life. One part of you wants a fulfilling life, a satisfying life, a powerful life, right? To reach your full potential and to, kick ass and be disciplined and be just like a badass motherfucker, right? Like, you can feel that in you when I say that, right? Like, just, I'm igniting that fire. I'm lighting that fire right now. Like, do you feel that inside of you? Like that powerful, like fuck being weak, fuck being small. Like, I want to be kick ass, be authentic, create the life I want to create, be who I want to be. in my own way, not following anyone else, right? And feel powerful and feel confident and feel like I'm actually capable, right? And I'm kicking ass in life, right? In my own way, whether that's juggling or dating or whatever it is that you want to do or be. So there's that part. And then we have the worm. And if you've seen my video on being a dopamine beast versus being a dopamine worm, the worm wants the easy path. The worm wants the worm inside of you. You can maybe even feel into the worm inside of you right now, right? Maybe wants to click away from this video and watch a video on cats, or watch some adult content, or just watch a stupid Netflix show, or scroll around and play Candy Crush, right? The worm wants easy, quick satisfaction. The worm wants quick dopamine hits. The worm wants the reward without the work. The worm wants the reward without the patience and the struggle and the challenge and the risk, right? So to become the master, there's a lot that you have to do. It's not easy. That's why there's not a lot, right? There's not a lot of masters, because the master needs discipline, the master needs patience, the master needs challenge, right? The master needs persistence. So there's this internal war, we could say, between the worm and the master, right? And you might obviously say consciously, well, I want to be the master. Duh, everybody wants to be the master. Who doesn't want to be the master? Like, the master lives a deep, fulfilling life. The worm lives a shallow, easy, gratifying, short-term pleasure life. But the subconscious is a different beast, right? And the subconscious does not want to put in the work to becoming the master. The subconscious wants to feel safe. The subconscious wants easy. The subconscious wants least resistance, right? So there's this internal war that's happening. And basically the time that we live in that I talked about, the information, the technology, all of this is feeding off of that, right? So just as much as this information and technology and time can be working for you, can be working for your master, your inner mastery, this time can also be working against you, because the same technology, the same sharing of ideas, the same power of the internet can be used to hook onto your weakest desires, your psyche, your inner worm, and exploit and extract that, versus you consciously taking in information that you want and putting that towards your vision of mastery, right? Does that make sense? I hope this makes sense, just laying this out, and let's dive in further. So let's come back to this idea of you having the inner master and the inner dopamine worm, right? And I don't want to be too rigid here. I don't want to be too dogmatic about this. I think that there is a level of entertainment, fun, rest and relaxation. Like, we don't have to be super gung-ho and strict, right? We don't have to be, sometimes you do watch a movie that inspires you, or you do listen to some music that gives you a new idea, right? Or you do read a book and it helps you relax, or you watch a show which helps you relax so that you can come back, the next day even harder with your practices and your meditation. Like, there is a part of this, rest and relaxation, right? And I think the important thing is that we do it in a conscious way, right? So I think for most people, it's maybe a balance between the two, right? There's really not, it's not so one or the other, right? Most people aren't just like all day, every day, just scrolling dopamine content and, being a dopamine worm. Some people are, but that's not everybody. That if that was everybody, the world would not function. And then some people are just like pure mastery, pure gung-ho. Like, why would I have time and space for anything that's bullshit, or that's not contributing to my vision? Like, I'll just rest in silence, right? And I do want to make a quick case for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a image that I created. So let's take a look at this. So we've got the rowboat, right? And let's say that you have these are your metaphorical men in your rowboat that are directing your life, right? So you got to see your life, your body, your mind as a system, right? There's different things that are affecting the system, right? That's why it's not so simple as, let's watch TV tonight it's like that's still going to affect the system, right? You're going to feel that tomorrow, right? So there really is, in a certain sense, there really is no on off switch. Like, you're always doing something with your body, mind, psyche, and that has effects, right? So let's just acknowledge that as a factual thing, right? So maybe you have your life purpose, right? That you're putting an hour or two into every day. That's bringing you, 60% closer to your vision, your goal, your mastery. You have a good diet that's supporting your body, giving you healthy fuel. That's giving you 45%. You're working out, you're keeping the body tight, you're keeping your health clean. You're giving your mind like the oxytocin, dopamine, like all those healthy chemicals, keeping your health and energy strong. It's your exercise. You're reading books on the topics that bring you closer to mastery, that bring you closer to your vision, that's bringing you 45% closer to your goal, to your vision. You're doing meditation every morning, staying very aware of your mind and your thinking, getting that direct experience of consciousness, of reality, that direct experience of awareness, getting more and more space between your mind and its reactions, and just that getting more spacious within yourself. That's bringing you 70% closer to your vision. And then let's just see what this does in our chart, right? You have TV, you have adult content, you're scrolling, shows and dopamine, and this is going to bring you down by 35%, right? So my proposition and my question is, why have that last guy in the rowboat, right? It's like these other guys are pulling the boat forward, and you have this guy in the back who's kind of pushing it backwards, slowly, slightly. It's not totally ruining the whole, like you're still going forward, right? It's just not as fast as you could be. And, I really I haven't perfected this myself. I haven't mastered this myself, like having all guys. There are periods in my life where this is the case, where all the guys on my boat are going forward, and it is euphoric. It is like you are on the limitless pill when you really get to this level of discipline and just like all the gears are clicking. It is a very profound feeling. So my case, even though I haven't perfected this myself, my case to you is also, why are you not performing full power? Why are there guys on your boat holding you back, right? And maybe your boat looks different from mine. Maybe instead of purpose and reading, it's practicing juggling, or it's speaking in front of people. Like, you have to decide your pillars, right? Like your people in your boat that are going to move you closer to your vision, right? And that's one of the cool things about mastery, actually, is that once you decide what you want to master, once you have the vision, all you have to do is kind of reverse engineer it and say what needs to be done every single day, brick by brick, to compound me to get to this vision, right? And then from there, you kind of strategize those pieces. Okay, well, I need to meditate an hour every day. I need to read these books. I need to do this juggling practice. Or say you want to get better at dating. I need to talk to 5 women a day. I need to do 5 approaches. I need to read these books on dating. I need to go out into the field and do practice, right? I need to cut out Tinder. I need to cut out online adult content. I need to cut out PMO, like all these things, right? Or money, like money, business. Like, okay, I want to have my own business in 5 years. So how does that work in reverse engineering? Which coaches do I need to work with? Which YouTube channels do I need to follow? Which books do I need to read? How can I cut out habits that I have now that are not getting me to that vision? Is Netflix getting me to that vision of having my own company in 5 years? Is going out and drinking every weekend getting me to that vision, right? And as you get better, as you get deeper into mastery, and if you've been following this channel and actually implementing what I've been saying, you're probably at a more refined level, right? So you're not like getting blasted on alcohol every weekend. You're probably not like addicted to Netflix and scrolling, hopefully. So then for you, the question is like, get even more refined about it. Like, what books are you reading? Is this the highest level? Does it align with your personality and your style of learning, right? Like this teacher, right? And are you scattered with your courses? How are you focusing when you're working on your business? Where's your attention going? Are you being more effective? Are you getting better at it, right? In my video on talent is overrated, we talked about deliberate practice. So are you doing deliberate practice with your work? Are you actually seeing improvements and bringing consciousness into it? Or are you just, oh yeah, this is what I do every day. These are my habits. I'm just going to do it the same way I always do it and get nowhere. But at least I'm laying the bricks. It's like, no, you're not laying the bricks. You're not. You're just doing repetitive, unconscious, the same unconscious thing that gets you nowhere. Like the real juice, the real improvement is in that deliberate practice that we talked about, that conscious practice. Like get better, see yourself improve, right? Do what it takes to get better. But I guarantee you that you can. There's no reason you can't. You have the same blueprint as any other human. You have pretty much the same mind. You can actually create what you want in life. You can be who you want. You can master what you want. So no excuses, right? So with this point, I think what I really wanted to get at is life is short. With this rowboat, it's like life is short, And we want all the gears firing. We want all the pistons firing in the right direction. And I say this to myself as much as I do to you. But like, how powerful is it that every single person in your rowboat is moving you forward? And yes, maybe you have that Saturday night movie, and maybe you have that, whatever, 15-minute scroll session after a hard week just to whatever, blah, like look at stupid cat videos. That's fine, but like 5%, 10%. And even with that, you can still keep it in the context of improvement and mastery. You can watch a movie that's inspiring. You can scroll through, maybe inspiring sports clips, something like that. So let's move forward. And just to bring it back to my point, bring it back to the point of this video, because I do want to keep this kind of tight and potent and direct, is that we live in this unprecedented time, right? We live in this time of this sea of information, this sea of content, and it can be very enticing to, a few clicks away to go with the dopamine worm, the dopamine worm path. You can go with the mastery path or the dopamine worm path, right? And I do think that a lot of humanity is going to, how do I use like a kind word? Like devolve, disintegrate, become more stupid through this stupid, bullshit, scammy kind of content, right? They're just going to fall into this path. They're not even going to choose this path. This path takes them, right? Because they're unconscious and they just get pulled by the unconscious patterns that these master manipulators are pulling on. They're smarter than them, right? So you get like a Ty Lopez and an Andrew Tate pulling on these internal drives. And I do think there's going to be a large chunk of humanity that just goes down this dopamine worm path. There's probably going to be a good amount that have like some kind of balance, and then there's going to be a very small percentage of like masters who they don't have any, like, all of this bullshit is just completely cut out from their life, right? And I want to further display this with an image here. So here it is, right? So we've got the paths of modern technology, right? And on the left we have the mastery, right? This is the leveraging and the using of technology to work for you, right? So on this path, obviously there's a lot more work, but what you get is a much deeper reward. The reward is like purpose, depth, vitality, character, wisdom. You feel like your own king. You build a castle. Your brain is happy. You're satisfied. You have a powerful life. You're much better able to execute and implement, and you're more capable of doing things that you want in life, right? And then on the right, we have the dopamine worm. This is where you just go with a path. It's like a river flowing. You're like a leaf in the river. You're just Instagram, porn, junk food, feeling bad for yourself, getting lost in the mind and it's bullshit, and your victim mentality, and you're weak. You have a low drive. Your life is going nowhere. You're not building anything powerful, anything you're passionate about. You're very floaty. People can easily pull you into different directions. You don't have like a spine, like a strength to you. You're just pulled whichever way life happens and life flows. Like, you don't have like a fucking anchor. You're just pulled by whatever is happening in life, right? And that means people, that means bullshit situations, that means drama. And on the right, this little bowl here thing is showing that you'll feel shallow. You won't feel like a depth to your life because you're not doing anything deep with your life, right? And what you'll end up with is a little clay hut, right? Instead of a castle, it's just you're surviving, you're just getting by. You're just living like a little, you haven't built anything. It's just day-to-day survival, right? You have a hut, you're barely scraping by. And you might even be rich. What I mean, I don't mean this by money. I mean this by your internal state, your character. Your way of living will just be survival based. Your mind will be a mess. Your mind will be full of reactivity and emotional drama and bullshit if you take this path, right? And so to further discuss this, I want to discuss how basically, right. So you might look at me and say, okay, so this is the case that we're in, right? This is the world that we're in, right? So what do I do? Like, what do I do with all this information, right? It's overwhelming. There's so much information. I want to become a juggler, but there's like a million different YouTubers. They're telling me different things. They're saying I need to buy this course, or these books are saying different things. And this is where we come down to a type of discernment. And it's like, you kind of have to build this muscle, because there isn't really a machine that can show us like, oh, these are the best teachings. These are the highest masters. Like, there's like a discernment that has to happen, right? You have to learn how to find the quality material. And sometimes you have to test this thing out or try this thing out. And it's like, okay, this doesn't work. This is bullshit. This helps. And the difficulty here is it's not always the most popular person, right? The most popular person is not always has your best interest at heart or is actually providing anything powerful. I think of Peter Ralston. He's very not well known. He doesn't have millions of followers or subscribers or anything like that. But his teachings to me are so powerful. They're so direct consciousness. They're so effective. Versus like another spiritual teacher who's like Aubrey Marcus, who's just kind of not really getting anyone anywhere. It's just kind of circles, going in circles on a podcast, right? Talking about emotions, talking about, stuff anyway. So there's this kind of skill you have to get of discernment, right? Of learning how to find the better technology, because we don't have that machine, right? And so that's something you've actually got to develop within yourself through time, through trial and error. But just keep going there. And then I'd also like to introduce a concept called technological discipline, right? So basically what this is the extent to which one uses technology and modern information or is used by it, right? So this is what's going to discern you from the worm and the master, right? This is your ability to walk the path of mastery or walk the path of the dopamine worm, right? And this is what, like we've discussed, this is just your discipline around, how you're using technology, how you're interacting with it, what kind of resources you're using, what kind of content you're intaking. And that's why I think my case for this is that we actually live in a time where it actually has never been easier, because all you need to win this battle is to be disciplined, right? All you need is that discipline. And that's easier said than done. But still, on the grand scheme of things, to have all this information, these audiobooks, these courses, these workshops, these teachers, these techniques, like whatever you're trying to master, like it's all at your fingertips. You just need to have the discipline to not get overwhelmed, to discern the bullshit from the real stuff, and to not go into, short-term gratification dopamine hits like Instagram and TikTok and adult content and things like that, right? So there we go. And last thing I want to mention here is the student dabbler trap, right? So you don't want to become just someone who goes from juggling to chess to podcasts to whatever, right? And what I've shown here is there's this little, this guy's like reading, he's trying this thing out, he's watching this video podcast, he's trying football, basketball, volleyball, soccer. He's always a student, right? This is the student dabbler trap. You stay always as like a student, always like as a learner. You're always listening to other people, but you're never stepping into your own power. You're never stepping into your own craft, right? And the mastery direct consciousness path is where you choose one thing. That's why we've got the focus on the right, is that you choose that thing, you focus on it, you contemplate it, you write your own things, you create your own things, as hard as that might be. You work on your own art, your own creativity. You meditate, you do the hard work, the discipline, the persistence, and you focus on that one thing and you stay with it, right? So even as a finer distinction within this conversation, even if you do become really good at discerning information and being disciplined and, staying away from the bullshit, you still have to choose one thing and focus on it and become a master of that thing, right? And there are many benefits of mastery. There's a lot of cases, I would say, as to why pursuing mastery in your life is important. You might say, well, why put in all this time and energy and, work into becoming master of something? I just want to live life. I just want to chill. I just want to be me. I just want to, and the reason is that doesn't really work. Like just being you you're going to fall into dopamine worm traps, right? The thing is, the mastery is the ultimate anti-dopamine worm medicine, right? With mastery, you can't get sucked into bullshit. You can't get sucked into drama, because you have to pursue your craft. You have to pursue your vision, right? Pursuing mastery builds confidence. It builds discipline. You're building something you care about. It builds a castle. There's this inner sense of fulfillment, this excitement, this love for life, this passion. It builds your self-esteem. You're not as needy with people like a romantic partner or friends or things like that, because when you're building something that you're mastering and you care about, you become independent. You really like, you have that thing that you love, and it keeps you anchored, right? It keeps you anchored in life. You have more emotional stability, and yeah, you're allergic to all forms of bullshit and drama. All right, guys, that was a lot. I know I made the same points a couple of times over, but I really want to hit it from all angles and really drive this point in. Um, I really want to say thank you for watching this and sticking with me through this video, and having this commitment to keep learning and to keep working on mastery. I hope this video is helpful. And if you don't know what you want to master, just pick something, right? You can always change. I mean, I'm not saying be a dabbler and choose 20 different things, but it's better to be working on something because you get the benefits of mastery, like even chess or juggling, than to be kind of like, what do I do? I don't know what I'm called to do. What's my passion? It's like, just choose something and start working on it. See yourself improve, and then it shows you that, hey, I can improve in things that I choose. I can become a master in things that I want to master. And that in itself is so powerful, right? Yeah, so thank you guys. With this video, I really wanted to, like, if you could distill this video down to one sentence, it's that, like, the emphasis on the power of the times that we live in and how you can really utilize that to work for you and to create whatever life you want to create and become great in whatever you want to become great in, right? And you can do that. You can really do that. I'm telling you that remove the limiting beliefs, remove the bullshit, remove the bad habits, and get serious about it. If you get serious about it, this is, like I said, a couple clicks away, but it's not that easy because you have to do the hard work, right? Even with all the technology we have today, even like a Michael Jordan, you can get the best techniques, you can get the best coaching, the best teachers, and that still is not enough. Like, you have to do the hard work, right? Even with the technology and the information we have today, you still have to do the hard work. So with that, lots of love, guys. I hope this helps, and let's get it. Cheers.